The year 1848, a time of fervent nationalism and revolutionary fervor across Europe, saw the Italian peninsula ablaze with aspirations for unification and independence from foreign domination, especially from the powerful Austrian Empire, which held sway over the prosperous regions of Lombardy-Venetia, a situation that deeply frustrated Italian patriots who yearned for a unified homeland, thus sparking the First Italian War of Independence when King Charles Albert of Sardinia-Piedmont, driven by a mix of dynastic ambition and genuine nationalistic sentiment, declared war on Austria, believing the moment was ripe to expel the Habsburgs and expand his kingdom, thereby throwing his relatively modern army into the fray against the seasoned Austrian forces, which were initially caught off guard by the widespread revolts in Milan and Venice, forcing their aging but brilliant commander, Field Marshal Radetzky, to strategically retreat into the formidable quadrilateral fortresses, Verona, Peschiera, Mantua, and Legnago, a defensive network that provided a crucial stronghold for the Austrians, allowing them to regroup and resupply while the Sardinian army and some initial successes and the capture of Peschiera found itself stretched thin and somewhat complacent, failing to deliver a decisive blow, a period of stalemate that allowed Radetzky to meticulously plan his counteroffensive, even as political divisions and waning support from other Italian states, including the Pope's withdrawal, began to weaken the Italian coalition, making Sardinia-Piedmont increasingly isolated, setting the stage for a dramatic turning point in the summer heat of July. And Radetzky, demonstrating his tactical genius, launched a bold maneuver to outflank and encircle the Sardinian forces, which were spread out across a wide front, attempting to cover too much territory between the Mincio and Adige rivers, particularly around the strategic heights of Custoza and Somma Campagna, areas vital for controlling the approaches to Verona. On July 24, the Austrians initiated their attack, engaging Sardinian outposts with fierce determination, pushing forward relentlessly, particularly around Somma Campagna, where intense fighting ensued throughout the day, with both sides suffering heavy casualties, yet the Sardinians, despite their bravery, were gradually forced to yield ground under the sustained Austrian pressure, indicating the superior coordination and concentration of Radetzky's forces, which were now closing in with a clear objective. The decisive engagement, however, unfolded on July 25. When Radetzky, having successfully concentrated his main army, launched a full-scale assault against the fragmented Sardinian positions, focusing his efforts on the key areas around Custoza and Staffello. When the terrain, characterized by rolling hills and vineyards, became a bloody battleground. When Austrian columns, moving with precision and overwhelming numbers, systematically broke through the Sardinian lines, which, despite valiant resistance, lacked the necessary reserves and unified command to repel such a coordinated attack, leading to a chaotic and desperate retreat for Charles Albert's army, which found itself completely outmaneuvered and outfought, suffering immense losses in men and morale, thus marking a crushing defeat for the Kingdom of Sardinia-Piedmont. The Battle of Custoza, a resounding Austrian victory, effectively ended the first phase of the First Italian War of Independence, forcing Charles Albert to sign the Armistice of Silasco just a few weeks later, surrendering Lombardy and Venice back to Austrian control, a devastating blow to Italian unification efforts that exposed the weaknesses of the Sardinian military and the disunity among the Italian states. Though it did not extinguish the flame of Italian nationalism, instead hardening the resolve of many patriots who would continue the struggle in subsequent years, ultimately leading to the eventual unification of Italy under different leadership and through a more complex series of events, thereby making Custoza a bitter but instructive lesson in the long and arduous journey towards a united Italy, a testament to Austrian military prowess under Radetzky. Though a stark reminder of the challenges faced by the nascent Italian nation.